If you're Jewish today, most likely someone in your ancestry at one time lived in one of the thousands of small villages, the shtetl, that made up the Pale of Settlement of Central Europe. It was here that we find Hasidic Judaism, whose value-laden stories provide rich material for meditation. Among the founders of Hasidic Judaism is Menachem Mendel Morgenstern, the famous Kotzker rabbi, who for the last 20 years of his life meditated in silence. Before his silence, he was known for his passion for truth. Elie Wiesel speaks of him as a soul on fire. Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote a book about him, A Passion for Truth. And I am a sixth-generation descendant of this rabbinic master known as the Kotzker Rabbi. Menachem Mendel once said of silence, certain experiences may be translated by language, others more profound by silence. And then he added, the truths we search, the ones we look for, must be reflected in the way we live. Emblematic of this search for a living truth is the famous Hasidic story.
Isaac's treasure.
Isaac was a good man. He and his wife and 2 children lived in a small little village in Poland, east of the big city of Warsaw, north of the beautiful and romantic city of Krakow. Isaac worked very hard to provide for his family. Isaac often dreamed of treasure, someplace in the world that would bring happiness to his family. It so happened that once when business was especially poor and very few customers came into the store, Isaac would often think of the treasure that he was sure was somewhere hidden. Then it happened. One night, when the family was fast asleep, Isaac was awoken to a strange-sounding voice. Isaac, Isaac. Isaac sat up in bed and said, yes, who is it? I'm Isaac. I want you to go to the big and wonderful city of Krakow. There you will find a large, beautiful castle on a hill. And at the bottom of the hill you will see a river. And crossing over the river you will find a bridge. And under the bridge, if you dig, you will find a treasure. Now go, dig for that treasure. Isaac woke up his wife and told her of his dream. Oh, Isaac, go back to sleep. You're just having a dream. Now forget it. Let's get some sleep. We've got a lot of work to do in the morning. Get to sleep. So Isaac went back to sleep. The next morning he got up, but all day as he waited on the few customers to come into the store, he could not forget his dream. The next night, when all was quiet and everyone in the house was fast asleep, it happened. Isaac once again heard a strange voice calling his name. Isaac! And again the command to go to Krakow and find the hidden treasure. That was it. Isaac got up out of bed, wrote a note to his wife, telling her not to worry. He was going to Krakow and would be back in a few days with the treasure. After several days on the road, stopping at one little village after another, going to the community center where he always was given food and drink and a little rest, Isaac arrived at the city of Krakow. And sure enough, just as the dream had said, there was a large and beautiful castle on the hill, and a river down below it, and over the river a bridge, all as the dream had predicted. Isaac carefully approached the bridge. Suddenly he stopped. There were 2 guards on patrol guarding the bridge. He sat down and waited through the day and through the night. But the bridge was always guarded. There was no way for him to dig unnoticed. Oh no, what was this? One of the guards began walking over to him, and yes, he was calling to him. Isaac didn't know what to say. Should he tell the guard what he was really doing? What else could he say? So Isaac told the guard all about his dream, and the guard started laughing. Laughing and laughing. Yes, he was laughing hysterically. And the more he laughed, the more scared Isaac became. What was happening? Why was the guard laughing so hard? What was he going to do to Isaac? Isaac began shaking with fear. Finally, the guard stopped laughing long enough to say to Isaac, I can't believe you came all the way here to Krakow because of a dream. Man, if I believed every dream I had, I would have gone to a small village many days' journey north of here, to a home with a small store in front of it, to dig under the floor of that house. You see, I too had a dream that a huge treasure lay hidden under the stove in a home of someone named Isaac. But there are so many villages and so many Isaacs. How could I ever hope to find this village, or even the home of the right Isaac? Who ever heard of something so ridiculous? Now, my friend, get out of here, and I'll forget that I ever saw you sitting by this bridge. As soon as Isaac heard the guard's story, and before the guard could say another word, he turned and ran home as fast as his legs would carry him. It seemed that in no time at all, he arrived back in his little village. Running down his little street, he burst through the front door of his home, ran into the kitchen where his wife was preparing breakfast for the children. He didn't even stop to say hello. He went straight to the iron stove without noticing that it was red hot and full of burning wood. Furiously, he began digging in the spot where the stove usually stood. Isaac's wife thought her husband was a crazy dreamer. Now she was convinced. She and the children watched in wide-eyed amazement as Isaac destroyed her kitchen floor. The shovel hit something metallic. With absolute joy, Isaac bent down and lifted up a rusted metal box. Isaac sat down and carefully rested the box in his lap as he slowly opened its rusty hinges. And what he discovered was... the treasure was where it has always been. Only now Isaac's eyes were open to see it. Isaac's family gave him the biggest hug.
The Kotzker Rebbe perhaps first heard this story from his own master, Rabbi Bunim, who liked to repeat it every time he accepted a new disciple. Remember, Isaac, the treasure that is yours is to be found only in yourself, nowhere else. But there is more, as the rabbis began arguing. Did the treasure belong to Isaac alone? What about the captain of the guard? What about his share? To which came the response: sometimes the answers to our dreams come from sources least expected. Sometimes our dreams find their answer from the ones we see as our enemy, our nemesis. All we have to do is be open to listening.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen, listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen, listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen. Quiet yourself, there's nothing to say. Stop all the chatter that gets in the way, and listen, listen to our God. When the wind and the thunder finally disappear, there's still a voice that you will hear if you listen, listen to our God. You can hear it from the top of the highest hill, or from the valley below. It can come from the edge of the universe, it can come from within your soul. So close your eyes and listen. Listen, listen to our God. If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen, listen to our God.
As we say together, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one.